So Tay is talking here. He says it made me think maybe I should quit music. The hardcore fans, maybe not even hardcore, lovers of the Rose, the fans will see this moment, and I'll bet most of them would be like, why would you quit music? You're so important to me and to all these people. Like, your art is everything to so many of us. Like, what would make you want to quit music, right? Even if it's not like you go to social media with that thought and try to find answers or recruit people for this thought, it's probably something that entered a lot of our heads. But let's also go back and acknowledge the idea, or maybe the fact, the possibility, that when you are in the spotlight and people begin to lean on you and count on you, you become responsible. Maybe not legally, maybe not from a liability standpoint, but you begin to feel responsible. Okay? Now, I can say just a piece of this because, like, now that with YouTube, like, there's some level of weight that comes with me being in the public eye. Now, I know that sounds so stupid, and it is, because, like, I'm literally just a guy sitting in my house with a bunch of cardboard Korean men, right? What I do and say really doesn't mean anything. But can you fathom the idea that what we do here, as nonsensical as it is, and the dumb things that I say and do, how many people over the years have said in all these different ways and mediums, Roscoe, just like, insert group name, just like this group, you and your channel or you and your community saved me. And then they may or may not begin to tell you part of their story about how what we do here somehow brought them to a point where it saved them from something. It could be severe. It could be depression. I have no idea. I'm not going to jump to leaps and bounds, but you understand what I'm saying, right? It has been such a frequently said thing over these 3.5 years that it's nice to hear in the beginning. Like you feel like what you're doing matters, but at some point you kind of break into this mode of like, I don't know if I want that responsibility. I know it's just a symptom. It's not what I'm trying to do. And I will tie this back to the Rose, I promise. But I want you to take what I'm saying and think of that times a million. And that's what I have to assume people like them feel like on the other side of that coin, right? So there's this weight and responsibility that you have because you feel like you are now responsible for these people's well-being and their entertainment. If you don't continue to do things the right way, you begin to let people down, okay? That can drive you away from music or entertainment or just being in the public eye. Maybe what Tay is saying here wasn't actually that he wanted to quit music, but he wanted to quit music from such a public standpoint where it's that every song I play begins to like reinforce this connection with the audience that can be amazing, and it can also be very heavy and very weighted. I don't know. You know? So anyway, the point is, oh, and so what I was going to say was, this has happened so much that there came a point not too long ago where I'm talking like 3 months, maybe 4 months ago. I started to wonder if I needed to like I didn't not need to. It wasn't like I needed to have a talk with everybody, but if I needed to address like, hey, like I'm not saving your life, right? We're watching YouTube videos. We're having fun. Maybe BTS saved you. Maybe Stray Kids saved you. Maybe Mama Moo saved you. Like, that's great. I'm good with that. But like, in my head, I'm thinking like, don't put that shit on me, man. Like, I don't want to save you. Okay. I can't. So I started to wonder if this is like a thing, like within fandoms or something. I started to try to understand it before I tweaked out about it. And then all of a sudden, it was like from the friggin' universe. I'm scrolling through YouTube. I'm, watching shorts and stuff. And all of a sudden, this guy, how many of you are familiar with Theo Von? He's a comedian. He's got a like podcast now. Theo Von is a guy. He's kind of all over the place, And what I love about Theo is that he's not afraid. He's not afraid to be real and like cry it out. Like he's always dealing with something in a really sweet and charming way. Okay. And Theo comes up and he's talking to somebody on his podcast and his show. And it's another comedian that says, how many times you had somebody come up to you on the road and say, bro, your stuff saved me. And I'm half paying attention. I'm like, what? Comedians? Your show, what you do saved me. And then they follow it up with this story. And I'm like, whoa. So this isn't like a K-pop fandom thing? This is like a thing? Yeah. Because like as people in the public eye, regardless of the medium and art that's attached to it, it's like there's always these tendrils that go out of potential connection. And when you find somebody that you kind of like, I can relate to that, and you kind of latch on to them, it gives you something. It gives you a connection, a shared experience that then seems to make you feel a little bit more stable or whole or not as lonely. So whatever we latch onto shouldn't be invalidated. Maybe it's K-pop. Maybe it's Taylor Swift. Maybe it's a comedian with his jokes or a movie. It doesn't matter. Take it for what it's worth. Run with it. Let it be the hope that you need to put you in the right direction. Because if it's going to save you, make it count. All that to say, this moment right here, maybe I should quit music. There's a lot of weight and a lot of context in that moment. To put this at the center point of this video and wrap it up into all the visuals of real them hanging out, part of their journey, them on stage with the audience, all that stuff. They are offering us a glimpse into the weight and responsibility that comes from being in that public eye. And they're telling you across this 5 minutes, this is part of our journey. We have our struggles. We're just a couple dudes trying our best. Just want to play some music. We're going to keep doing it. We trust you. Let's keep going. We want to put good out into the world. Let's keep doing it. That is a hell of a rant for that moment right there. But to me, that point was kind of the point where now they make us pay attention. And then where they go with it is the hope. That's the light that we're working for. Beautiful video. So beautiful. So, I know that was pretty heavy, and that might seem like it really didn't have much to do with the video itself, but it really had everything to do with it. And if me talking about my experience, but then have you extrapolate that times a million for these cats, Like, I'm a pretty strong dude, and I don't mean like I can move stuff. I mean, I can move furniture and stuff. It's pretty cool. But I can be sensitive sometimes. Yeah, I can be tough when I need to. I can go run up a friggin' mountain. I can do all that shit. Great, wonderful. But I've had my emotionally taxing times. I know if I feel certain ways being in this tiny little dim, pathetic spotlight, that being on this level has got to be a friggin' game changer. Maybe it's too far to say we should appreciate our idols and artists that they keep doing what they're doing, regardless, or not regardless, despite the fact that there's a bunch of friggin' lunatics out there trying to just draw from them. You know what I mean? Showing up at the friggin' houses, sending things to their homes and stuff. What are you doing? Well, people are people, you know? But yeah, that is a massive responsibility and a massive weight on people that really just like, they just want to play some music. They want to put good out into the world. But that good, it comes with a weight. And I think it's easy to forget that sometimes.